Hi, I'm Sophia and I draw animals, and today we are drawing a blue heron again. This is actually Sophia from the future. I just forgot to film an intro. Last I checked, we walked through the initial blue heron drawing that I did for my first YouTube video. Then we walked through the red sketches and the blue sketches, which I cannot show because it'll spoil it, but we drew a limited edition design. I finalized that circle print design. I might do the square one off camera because I'm really fucking tired, and I might not try as hard on that one because my wrist is literally gone. I really had fun with this. I'm excited to show you everything that happened. But yeah, let's get into it because I want to show you the process, and then we will reconvene and do our little outro and say goodbye. Alright, hi, it's voiceover time. I am ripping out a page today just because I needed the sketch on the left side, and I didn't want to have to flip the page every single time. It was going to fall out either way if I kept doing that, so on the left side it is. For a while I used to rip pages out of sketchbooks if I didn't like them, if they weren't perfect. So I was trying to avoid that, but it just made sense to do it anyway. And now I'm just going in with some guidelines and sketching out the neck. I'm not using any proper references here yet. I'm actually just referencing my little post-it note drawing. I did choose individual references for each part of the heron, so there is not a single reference. I chose one for kind of the neck and face angle, something for the abdomen, something for the legs, and another reference for the wings. It was a little bit annoying, like, going through and swiping every single picture to find the right reference. I probably should have, like, printed them and had them laid across the table or on the wall or something, but you win some, you lose some. At this point in the drawing, I'm still kind of making a lot of mistakes, and I'm correcting and erasing and drawing again and erasing again and drawing again and erasing again. This sketch process was very lengthy, especially since there was some more precise shapes that I was supposed to be hitting. On top of that, I do not draw open wings very often. I honestly don't draw wings in general often for someone who loves birds this much, but they are very hard for me to grasp the way they fold. I haven't done a study. I'm still, we'll get to that. Don't yell at me. But bird wings are still a very large obstacle when it comes to drawing for me. And, oh god, honestly, that beak too. Beaks are also very hard because they're very precise, and the shape of a beak can drastically change the look of a bird. So I go in here and I fix it. Once again, I square out the head a little bit. It was a little bit too much like a goose head, very round and smooth, when they have slightly more angular features. So now I'm on to the legs and feet. I kind of wind up bouncing back and forth from where I am on the heron body because I'll be changing things so much, but the legs and feet I kind of already had a grasp on. I mentioned this before that bird legs and feet, most animal limbs are very easy for me to draw because there's kind of a formula for what kind of animal gets what kind of hip, knee and ankle bone and where they connect. That sounds so not correct at all, but in my head it works. I know what's going on there. Not the case with wings. I know the general shape of where the bone should go. Feathers, you lost me. So I did reference that heavily. Most of me to see the feather placement specifically, and then I wound up taking coloring and how I added textures into my own hands because it did not look anything like the reference by the end of that. Also, if you notice my little post-it note flapping in the wind, it was so hot back there that day. Right now, when I'm filming this voiceover, it was a breezy, chilly May day for some reason, but that day it was like high 80s for the first time, and there was like not enough breeze. The breeze itself was warm. It was a very dry and hot day. Not a fan, but we power through. And this is completely unrelated, but I really want to do some more sticker sheets. I've mentioned that several times now because I always want to do more things and just forget to take the time and carve out the time for creating new things. But I love those TikToks where it's like, oh, all the blue in my sketchbook, or all the birds, or all the bugs in my sketchbook, like things like that. And I was thinking that maybe I could do that with like a sticker sheet and do like my favorite animals in like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, you know, the rainbow, purple, she's in there. But I thought it'd be really cool to do that and then have some mix of fan favorites, but also some cool animals you could learn and to love. And I manufacture through Sticker Butts, so they come out waterproof and you can stick them literally anywhere and they stay for like ever. A part of me initially wanted to do like a birds only sticker sheet for like colors, you know, but I think that doing other animals like throughout species and like categories and genuses and all that fun stuff, we can get some really cool color palettes, because it wouldn't be these very bright colors that are usually associated with birds. We could have some nice muted tones, but that are still considered orange or red or whatever, you know. So this is partially a letting you guys know, but it is definitely also a reminding myself to say it out loud so that I don't just write it down and put it in my notes app and forget about it forever. Okay, so back to the art. I'm going in with like a sand colored Artist Loft alcohol marker. Once again, the ones that I've owned for ages, literally a decade. I'm just going to color every single thing this color. And I kind of started myself with this choice. I did not think that it was going to look as good as it came out looking. Hello, words. I didn't think it was going to come out looking as good as it did with this weird color palette I chose. I know that color theory is surprising all the time and always deceives you before it actually works, but the color of that yellow, it was looking a little bit, it was just looking gross, and I did not think that I was going to get the lights light enough. But honestly, I feel like I did wind up achieving what I wanted to achieve with this drawing once it was finished. And right now I am using that marker to block in the first layer of feathers. It's all going to be the same color at first, but when you layer back over with the alcohol marker again, it darkens it so you can still kind of see the separation of feathers and the kind of blocks I'm making myself to sort of do like a color by numbers situation. That way I know where I'm going. A lot of things I did in this drawing that I hadn't really done before it. So, a lot of learning curves, a lot of erasing, a lot of fixing, a lot of tidying up, but we get there. And we're now filling in that second layer of feathers. Guess what time it is? We're almost done with the freaking first layer time. Oh my lord. This drawing took me so long. It was a good drawing. I had fun doing it. That's not the point. I didn't know what was happening. Like, I think I took like 3 drawing sessions with this one, and each of them were hours long. And that might not be a lot for some people, but it is for me. That mental energy that it takes to make that many decisions and do that many things at once, and even just focus for that long on one thing, it's a lot sometimes. And I was kind of like on a roll. The first day I'd been feeling kind of rough, that's why I cut it short. Second and third day, I was locked in for many hours at a time. I was sitting there, forgetting to eat, forgetting to pee, forgetting to drink water. Door open, it's hella hot. The dog's coming in and out, he's having a great time. I wasn't. I'm lying, it was still fun. But it's bad when you forget to nourish your body. So back to the art stuff, because we have plenty of that to do now. We are adding in my second layer of color. It is a very, very sheer shade of blue. It's definitely on like the more sky blue side. But I'm using it to block in those kind of blue areas. There are some whiter areas on the hair, and those are going to stay kind of yellow, and anything that gets darker is going to have this blue tint to it. And I will take another marker eventually and add a third layer of tint to it just to kind of get a dark medium light blocked out for the rest of the drawing. Like I said, I foretold that I would be using this darker color to map in an even darker section of the bird. This one's actually called Blue Slate. It is definitely more of a periwinkle, purplier blue. but it's just a sheer, and I use that to kind of get in those darkest areas before I go in with my white paint pen and get some of the lightest parts of the bird lightened up. And with the white paint pen, I kind of flick out these very wispy feathers that they kind of have towards the back of their neck, the nape, and the chest. There are some more that's run about. I definitely get a little bit exaggerative with some feathers. I like to accentuate those top feathers that kind of are where the hinge of the wing is. This fucking gnat thing. Oh. Up. What is that? An angle change. Up. Another angle change. Bet you didn't see that coming. My editing skills? Through the roof. I'm the absolute goat. Anyway, we are doing some color pencil work. I've got a dusty greeny blue. I've got a dusty sky blue. I've got a dark blue. I've got an even lighterish blue, and I've got a weird gray color. I'm just scribbling away. I'm trying to get some colors deepened without making them too muddy, because that is a habit I have, unfortunately, for everyone around me and myself as an artist. But I'm making sure to take the time, which is why this drawing took so long, to get every single highlight in there before I start covering things up too much, because then the pastel pencil thing won't show up. And for a while, it's just me making my rounds, picking up different colors, deepening some colors, brightening some colors. You see, I pull out that very nice aquamarine and go towards the crown of the heron. I do darken it up a little bit afterwards, but we're just trying to get as many colors layered down as possible right now to make the right hues. I sound so intelligent and knowledgeable. Maybe. I'm getting there. I'm actually learning a lot by drawing and watching myself draw. It's improving my process. It's definitely streamlining my process, but most of it's just me slapping color where I think color should go. Speaking of not really knowing what I'm doing, though, I've never been to art school or formally taken an art class. I was a band kid. Still am at heart. Don't get it twisted. But I didn't take art in school, and I didn't take art in college, and I kind of wish I had. But I also love music, so that's not really a lose in my book. But so everything I do is self-taught. I watch tutorials. I love looking at animals. I watched a lot of nature shows growing up. Like, if it was PBS, it was on BBC. If it was on Animal Planet, if it was on Nat Geo, I was there. I was sat for every moment of it. And to this day, I still watch those kind of animal documentaries and series by myself because it's very fun for me. I like knowing what I know and also learning new animals, because there are so many animals that I will just never ever hear about. And that amazes me, that I can go my entire life and still not know every single animal, still not even have seen or heard of every single animal. Currently, I am watching the Photo Arc kind of series. I think it's on Disney Plus, if I'm correct, and or Hulu. I think it's Disney. But don't quote me there. However, I used YouTube for every single art tutorial I've ever watched. I didn't really have an artist in my family. It was me and my cousin. When we were at that age, we drew a lot together, but I wound up drawing more as I got older. But tutorials were my thing. I watched a lot of realistic animal drawing tutorials. I never quite grasped fur. I wonder if I have a better grasp of it now as I draw feathers more often and just have a better understanding of general art rules that I figured out. But I drew a lot of wolves, and because I was drawing them realistically, I had a good sense to draw them semi-realistically, almost cartoonized, because I had a unknowingly furry inspired art style. Let's be real. I can be honest to you. If you search through some of my old stuff, I'm sure you'll find it. If you were on my personal account, which who knows. However, that is not what we're here to talk about. I loved drawing animals realistically. Then I moved on to drawing things from imagination. I would draw a lot of animal-inspired dragons, especially because I was heavily inspired by the creatures in the Avatar, the Blue People version ones. They're animals, you can tell they're like kind of like rhinos, or kind of like horses, or kind of like dragons, or kind of like hyenas. It's very cool, and I was heavily inspired by that. Okay, here comes the part in this drawing where I was actually surprising myself. I initially was like, oh my god, I should not do another checker thing. I just did a checker thing, but I don't care if checkered is my generation's chevron. I really like it. So I find a way to sneak it into a lot of my drawings. This one was, I tried doing it initially just darkening up with the same indigo blue color. I used a pencil instead of a marker this time. But then I was like, I've done this once before on a sketch of my cat and I liked it, so I did a alternating hatch checker thing with the same color. So all that's different is I'm doing vertical hatches for obviously certain ones, and then on the other ones, the empty spaces, they get horizontal hatches. And it took me so long. My wrist was literally burning, aching, falling off the bone, but it was worth it. I really, really like how that turned out. I'm kind of annoyed at how fast that editing makes this look. It really did not take this short of time. It took hours upon hours. I think this entire drawing took like 7 hours. 6 or 7 hours, something like that. Who cares? Anyway, I'm sharpening up my pencils because they are dull. Dull. And using these colors once more to just kind of deepen up areas, lighten up areas that need to be lightened, and darken some areas that need some accentuating. I'm going back in and kind of reglossing the eye so it's very bright, because it was I think yellow, and I wanted to really make it pop because there was a lot of stuff that was kind of covering up that area, and I wanted to make sure that the eye, which is one of my favorite parts, was clearly visible. Then taking this very bright turquoise and that periwinkle color, I'm going in and adding blues wherever needed. The turquoise color I used to highlight the neck and the kind of like top of the head. I really like how it sat on top of all these colors. It really made it shine. Then I'm taking my indigo pencil and doing some very light lines across the feathers to kind of differentiate between feathers so they don't just become one messy blob. It wasn't really in the reference. This was kind of just my way to darken up and do a little ombre in the feathers, because that was in how the feathers catch light, and I wanted to make sure that was showing. All right, and final touches and she's done. I just do one last little check, everything I need, and the drawing is finished. Look at her! Oh my gosh, what a slay. Hi, it's me again, and I have the drawing ready to show you. Okay, this shit took way too long. I am used to drawings taking a little while, especially when they're in pencil, but this took like almost 7 hours. So remember, initial sketches, don't forget them. And the final piece. Look at her. Look how pretty she is. Fucking texture out the wazoo. That's what. She took forever. It was very fun. My wrist is gonna ache tonight, so I have to make sure I take care of it, which I don't want to do, but I'm going to. Very tired. I've been at it. I've been in the studio since 11 a.m. dinner time now, so I'm very ready to just get some relaxing, get some editing done, because there's a lot to do. I'm actually practicing filming 2 videos this week, but I definitely want to hear your guys' opinions in the comments. Any animal suggestions you have is always highly appreciated, always highly encouraged, because I love seeing what animals you guys want to see. I obviously have a list of favorites all the time on hand, but it's very nice to get to draw what you guys enjoy. It's just more fun to interact with you all. BT dubs, I've been adoring responding to you guys in the comments. It is like overwhelming in a good way. My sketchbook tour video did so well. I'm very, very just grateful because we gained so many new friends. That's all I got. I think that is all I have for you. Please consider leaving a like and subscribing. We do this every week. I might start posting twice a week if I have the energy, but I think once a week is gonna be good for now since I'm still adjusting to changing my days to Mondays. But please consider following me on Threads. That's where I post the most art content. A lot more interaction is just easier there because it's a comment-based app. So thank you. I'm very excited that you guys are all here. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to draw some fucking birds. There's nothing I love more in the world. So that is all I have for you. I will quit yapping your ear off. Thanks for hanging out. Do me a favor and drink some water. take care of your mind, take your meds, and I will see you in the next video where we don't draw blue herons. I promise.